Fan on.
Right. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello.
We're excited to be here. We've not hung out for a long time.
When was the last time that we caught up?
Oh my God, I think it was more than a year. I think it was more than a year until we spoke last week.
Yeah.
Quite a while, definitely.
Oh my God, I think it was more than a year.
That's me trying to let me turn that off. Right, I'm just going to share this on my wall. There we go. Cool. Let's see how we get on with that. Right. So it's our first episode. So we've just named this the Brain and Body Show. So the brains is kind of like with me. Tara is very intelligent. I'm not saying she's not intelligent.
I need my
brains kind of with me because I'm going to talk about mindset related stuff. Tara talk more about body related stuff and fitness and food and all that sort of stuff, all the good stuff. So we had a good chat. We haven't spoke to each other in over a year. Tara and I have known each other, 7 or 8 years?
Yeah, it's been quite a long time now, isn't it?
It has been a very long time. Do we tell the story of the fish and how we the fish video and how we first met each other?
Oh, hang on. Let me just recap in my mind what went on. Oh, I remember now.
Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. It was quite horrific, really, wasn't it? Well, anyway, we'd gone to, we were in a restaurant, weren't we? You came to meet us all. Where were we? Was it in Bristol?
You were with Dax in London. So Dax is one of my long-term mentors. Dax is who I learned all the noggin knowledge from. So Tara was doing a day with him to add to all her brilliant coaching skills. Then I was meeting her and someone else. Well, one of my clients was there. So I turned up to his restaurant and then, go on, Tara, you finished telling the story.
Well, I don't even know how it happened, but basically we were all sat there having food and you were looking amazing as well, which you always do. But you had a fitness show or something coming up, didn't you? Or maybe just done
yes, I must have done. Yeah.
Yes, you had, because I can remember
my one and only fitness model competition.
Yeah, and I remember thinking, who is this girl with the hair and the abs just walking towards us right now? I have to try and impress her. So I don't even know how I had it. Probably like the boys I was working with in the health club at the time. You know what boys are like for sharing stupid videos and stuff. And it literally was, quite a vile video. But it was, well, basically, let's just say there were 3 young boys in the water, one with a fish, one with a camera, and one with something else out. And there was like all terrible things going on there. So for some reason, it ended up getting shared around the table. And that was my icebreaker.
That was my first. Beautiful Tara, just sat there holding court, chatting to everyone, amazing as ever. And then this fish video that was so in contrast to just her in general. And I think I fell a bit in love with you at that point. Anyway, I think I was a bit
because the face doesn't match what's going on inside. That's for certain.
We've always been like friends, and we've always supported each other from the sidelines. We love chatting. We love chatting about what we do. So what we thought we'd put together, and this is like a trial run. We're going to see how this goes. We're going to see what questions and interactions we get. Then if we think it's a goer, we'll do this every week, and we'll get questions and we'll kind of promote it a bit more so more people can join us and we can answer those questions and focus on what's going to help you most. So what we thought we'd focus on today, we focus on the subject of 2020, which is, I'm not even going to say the C word, but lockdown effectively and how it's affected all of us. So we're going to talk a little bit about how it might have affected your mindset and how you're feeling, and just our experiences, and also sharing some of the things I've helped my clients with. And then Tara is going to chat about how it might have affected your nutrition, being a hermit in your own house. It might be that your fridge is suddenly your best friend. I know that was me for quite a while. And how you fit in the exercising, and also as we come out of it, how to kind of get past that anxiety starting again, because we're all kind of starting from somewhere that we've never been before. So that's what we were going to chat about. So how is it? Well, should we chat about our experiences first, or how has it been for you? Because you laugh at kind of what you said about how it's been for you.
Well, for me, it's been, of course, like everybody, I've had my challenges. I'm in a really fortunate position that I've worked online with my business for years and years anyway. But September, October last year, I ended up doing my one-to-one clients at my gym that I've got here, which was just a private one for me and my partner Richard to be using. I call him Deeks as well, by the way. So when I reference him as that later, you'll know I'm still on about the same guy and there's not two in my life. So we've got this gym downstairs. So the girls started coming there. They loved it. So I've got my office here, my gym downstairs. I literally didn't go much further than the school run of my little boy, Danny, taking him back and forth to school. So I've lived quite a self-contained life anyway. So as soon as this happened, apart from obviously, you know, my one-to-one face-to-face clients had to stop, you know, everything was quite similar. I did have probably a wobble on the third week because you could see that people were, you know, and naturally taken action and they were cancelling their memberships with me. So my business was massively being affected. But whilst that went on, I did create some new things as well, which is, you know, that was wonderful. So that, you know, give me the focus and drive that I needed. But on a personal level, what has been a big challenge for me is and my partner, whilst I'm really grateful that we didn't have to do any homeschooling with Danny because he's 3 years old. As anybody will know, a 3-year-old just does love constant attention. So being able to give that whilst my partner was working and I'm working as well was just, you know, really difficult. Plus, you know, the weather was just incredible, wasn't it? So it was good for everybody, and I think really good for everybody's mental health. I think that really would have helped people get through. But when you consider what people's kind of habits are like when they're not in work and the sun is out, what normally kind of comes along with that then is chilling out, eating, drinking and all that stuff. Absolutely. And we did that as well. It was just before Easter and I'd been really organised. I'd gone to Tesco and got a load of Easter eggs, half price. In the end, I didn't have any to give to my nieces or my nephews because we'd eaten them all. So we literally did, you know, create these little routines that were going on in our family as well that were, you know, not serving us. So we had to kind of work on that quickly. But again, you know, we've had our challenges. I felt, you know, stressed physically like I've never felt before. So I've had to you know, do some things I've never done before with things like meditation and noise cancelling headphones and go for walks on my own to get some time out. So, you know, I've felt it the same as everybody. And done, you know, a lot of what I would recommend for anyone to do when they notice these kind of feelings coming on as well. So what about you? What have you been going through it like?
Lockdown. Okay, so lockdown for me started at the very beginning of March. My partner and I went to Poland. So he's Polish. So we went to visit some of his family, and we had, I think it was only 3 days, but we had an amazing time. And we literally we got back, and as we landed, and we popped your phone on just to see if anyone's messaged, make sure everything's okay at home. As we landed, we had a message from our lodger, and our lodger basically, we thought that he had the virus because he'd been away, came back. It's like, just, you know, just when you get home, I think I've got kind of a flu. I don't think it's the virus, but just so you know. So we went into lockdown at that point, and my partner's a doctor as well. So he was going in and out of hospital. He had a lot more PPE. There was clean zones at the hospital. There was red zones that you didn't go into unless you'd been tested, unless you had full PPE and stuff. So he was kind of stuck like right in the face of it. Then we came home, literally walked in the door, and we had to set up a kitchen in my partner's office. We just got food and takeaways, and we put all that kind of in a fridge that we put up there. So we were kind of in it straight away. So lockdown for us has been since the very beginning of March. And I noticed little things kind of stress me. So for example, we've got 2 dogs. We don't have children yet. So, but we have 2 dogs. And just when we were like into week 9 and 10 and we didn't have any help with them, and I'm working from home, my partner's working 60-hour weeks, it was just getting more and more stressful, like the normal stuff, knowing that they were relying on me and that my partner was going to be at work all day. So it was all done. And I just found that it's what I would describe as going into my animal brain. So I went very much into that fight or flight. I got myself really stressed at times. And then also I think, like you, seeing my business, you know, be hard hit, and it's an online business as well. So in theory, it shouldn't have been. But a lot of my clients are director level. A lot of them are taking pay cuts, furloughed entire teams, and they were just like, I just don't have the mental capacity now with everything that I'm managing, and my team are working remotely. I'm at home. I've taken this huge pay cut. So some immediate things there. And then also I have a retreat in the Alps every year. We'll say every year. We've done it for 2 years now. And this year we had 7 amazing ladies all lined up, all ready to go. Everything was booked. And then obviously that got cancelled as well. So then suddenly it's kind of cancellations and, you know, an experience. You're giving back money for an experience that you wanted to have, but you also wanted these brilliant women to have that have trusted in you. So it's that kind of knowing it's okay to have ebbs and flows in your business still, knowing it's okay to change slightly what you do, knowing it's okay that you can be a patient for a bit. And I think for me, like you said as well, like the daily walks, when we just had the daily walks, are really important. And also my partner and I really love going out for dinner, but we would, you know, spend more time at home cooking and just making sure we had a specific time together. Or if we're going out for a walk, we would go a little bit further if it was both of us for our own mental health. And I also had my birthday in lockdown, so that was an interesting one. So, you know, we had a Zoom family quiz and all that sort of stuff, but it's not felt quite the same. And I'm an empath as well. I'm a huge empath. I'm really very sensitive. I'm very emotional, and that kind of part of what makes me a great coach. But I've just found it really heavy.
Yeah,
I just found it really. And then all the other stuff going on in the world, just really heavy and just taking a lot of my energy and just wanting to help my clients through it in a really positive way. And some of them are closing businesses for 4 or 5 months that they've never closed businesses for. And it was so stark, so immediately. So I think my lessons from lockdown are that, you know, that deep gratitude and appreciation for what I do have. So now I still have clients. I still have a business that's essentially growing. I have this incredible partner that supports me so much. I have my mum and dad are safe. We stopped seeing them at the beginning of March until recently. Even though my dad hurt himself during lockdown as well, he got quite poorly. So that, you know, that immense gratitude and actually, you know, being annoyed by our dogs, it's like they are our family and we love them to bits. So definitely gratitude, like you, using the daily walks and getting out into nature. And I think the other thing was almost changing the routine slightly so that it worked for us more. So rather than just assuming I'm going to get up every morning and maybe do a training session, it might be that some days I get up and I might actually just go back to bed if I was really tired, if I'd been, you know, not slept so well. So it's kind of like that adaptation, and a lot of my clients just change their routine. And I think as we kind of come out of it, what I hope many women do is take that opportunity, just say, do I want to go back into this? If so, what have I learned from it and what can I take from it? So yeah, it's been like long. It's been relentless, and you know, I ended up in hospital with an appendicitis and had bits of me cut out as well. So yeah,
it has. But again, I think it has shown, you know, really how adaptable we all are, and resilient, and you know, we got through it. If somebody had said to us at the beginning of March, you're going to be, you know, living like this for at least 3 months, our heads would have kind of blown off, you know. It shows, doesn't it, not to look too far into the future, just take each day as it comes, because we can learn now. We can all learn the lessons of lockdown, and we all have a choice whether we dive straight back into the rat race with stress and pressure that we had before, or we really do adapt and take some of the lessons into, you know, a new approach and outlook to our lifestyle. Definitely learn from that, but also not to stress too much about the future. You know, we've got to be living in the present now, and stressing about what may happen is going to ruin what is going on right now as well, because of what's going on in our heads. So, you know, just taking it day by day, knowing that we are going to need to adapt. We do need to be flexible. We're in a transition now, which is probably a little bit more kind of unsettling than what lockdown was, because lockdown had a firm, hard rule. You stay in, you do this, and you can't do anything else, you know. And it's like, oh, right, okay, so you follow the rules. But now it's like, you can kind of do this, but you can't do that. Like,
you can do that, right. You need a mask.
Yeah, exactly. So we've
if you go to the shop, Nick, and you get your mask, you'll be coming home and going back to the shop.
Yeah, exactly. So we have got to pay attention, haven't we? So this is the time now where we do need to be looking at, you know, what habits served me before, what habits serve me now, and who do I want to be now coming out to this? And I think a lot of people might decide that, you know, I'm going to go part-time with my job. I want to spend more time with my family. I don't need to be doing all of this stuff, you know. So let's hope that people don't just dive straight into the pressure pot that we were living in before.
Definitely. Oh, I absolutely love that. I agree. So life, I always like to remind clients life is now, not when you've got to drop the dress side, the big promotion, the new job, the, you know, more money in the bank. Life is now. And it's not, you can't just be waiting to get to somewhere to enjoy it. And I think it's definitely taught me that more than ever. And, you know, hearing some of the stories from Conrad, you know, my partner wasn't frontline, but, you know, some of the things that he experienced and he saw, and his sister was frontline, and it was just it was really, you know, quite shocking. And that appreciation, but also living in the moment, because, you know, especially as women, we tend to put everyone else first, and that means we're kind of stuck on this hamster wheel, and we keep going because we're too scared to stop. But actually, it's really important that, like you said before, especially now, if you have a little bit more time, maybe take some time to reflect back. I had clients that went on to furlough, and that's meant that they've got permanent. One client in particular, she's got a promotion and also a permanent. She's got 2 years of working from home now, and that is just, it's going to change her entire life. I had another client that changed jobs during it, and she's gone on to less hours a week. And it's just, what do you actually want? And that's what I love to teach and coach more than anything, is bring you home to you, like clarity on who you are. Out of that, what do you want, rather than comparing, rather than just always moving forward. And I think the other thing out of lockdown is we don't need to step up to the pace that is, you know, getting faster and faster as it was before lockdown. And you can see this year really is a bit of a shitstorm, or you can see this year is actually an awakening and like a shape of the tree. We need to fucking change what we're doing. We've been the most depressed, most obese, most in debt society that we've ever been. And I mean, collectively, I'm not laying that at anyone's door.
Yeah, but, of course.
This is the time to do things differently and take an opportunity. And yeah, I absolutely love that being in the moment more, and, you know, just focusing on the now. Because if you look back at the past, you're just going over things you can't change. If you keep flipping into the future, again, you can't influence. All you can do is have, what can I do today to create the future that I want? What can I do today to learn from the past and what's happened before? And that's all you can do, really. Absolutely. So yeah, it's definitely woken me up to some changes, and just, I love what I do, but I want to do it in a different way, so I'm not working so hard. And what do you think about women that have maybe, you know, that working from home more, pressure, children at home, and then they might have been, you know, pop into the fridge more often, you might have been just, you know, not so kind to themselves with what they're eating, or not being as prepared maybe.
Absolutely.
This kind of shift. Did you see a lot of that from your clients, or probably not from your clients?
Yeah, a lot. You know, first of all, you know, obviously everybody's setup is different, isn't it? Some, most of the girls that I work with, you know, they're busy mums, or most of them. I'm not going to say all of them because some aren't, but busy women anyway. And having, like, in one as an example, she's got 2 teenagers and a much younger one, so they'd be getting out of bed at different times, wanting breakfast. It was literally a conveyor belt of, all right, who's having breakfast, who's having snacks, who's having lunch, who's having snacks, who's having dinner, you know. So it was just like that, you know. And it's like being sliced up into a big pie, and everybody wants a piece of mum, you know. But firstly, of course, with majority of people, when they feel stress, you know, that kind of fight or flight thing that's going on, the body's appetite is going to upregulate. So people are naturally going to be eating a little bit more food. You know, when we look at kind of survival instincts of our bodies and why this may happen. So yes, people eating more food, and very often it is that highly palatable foods, you know, ultra processed, yummy things, crisps, chocolate. The weather was amazing, more alcohol is coming in, and again, you can see it's like, you know, when you look at all the ingredients that were going on, it was like, this is a recipe for holiday, but we're not in holiday. You know, so it was, you know,
can't leave my house.
2, 3, 4 weeks into this then, and you can see that, you know, people start to think, all right, I've got to try and sort this out now, because all I'm doing is eating and drinking throughout my days. I haven't got any motivation to exercise, you know, everything's thrown out. And like you say, you know, mums, women, people pleasers, we've got this natural nurturing side to us. We're very caring and giving, and we will be looking after our families and other people and putting ourselves on the bottom of the pile. So, you know, I'm going to say big things, tiny things that I've been doing with the girls, which are going to be getting, really big rewards, have been getting them on a daily basis to focus on taking some time out for themselves. And Brilliant. If it just means, having, even if it's 10 minutes lying on the bed upstairs, but most of the time I'm trying to get my girls to, and anybody that will listen to me actually on my profiles, is to go outside and have a walk on your own. And that can kill, so many birds with one stone. So you're getting outside in nature, which is very de-stressing. So it's good for any kind of anxious feelings, getting outside. If you want to listen to the birds and just have some fresh air, do that. I encourage the girls to put a podcast on. So again, listen to something very inspiring, something to make you think, oh my word, this is just so me right now, and helping to put things into perspective. And of course, getting a little bit of movement and some exercising, because all of us will feel good from doing that. We really must focus on exercise for the feel good factor, and not just, oh, it's something I do to burn calories. We've got to be looking at the physical and the mental health benefits of doing exercise then. So just taking 10 minutes, the girls will say that they will walk out of the door, one person, and come home somebody else. They will. So it's really important and very simple to do in the days. And we've got some gorgeous weather now. You might have to dodge a couple of thunderstorms, but make it something that you can do now, and make it a lifetime habit, because having some time out for yourself, we love the people that we live with and we are surrounded by, but we definitely need to recharge our batteries. We don't come with a little red bar on there saying drained, you need to charge up. We need to pay attention to ourselves to do that, and it really is important to to take a step back, appreciate ourselves, remind ourselves how awesome we are, and do some really simple things.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a couple of bits to add to that. I think when you're saying about time for yourself, I always like to remind clients, like we create, when we first start working together, something called a love list, and every week they take one or two things from their love list. So it's, as it says on the tin, so it's a list of things that they love doing just for themselves, and they need to fit one or two of those in a week. And it's that shift in mentality, rather than making yourself and your time and what you're doing the compromise. Like, it's always the first thing to go, isn't it? Your workout or what you want to eat. It's always the first thing that gets dropped. So it's that shift away from being the compromise to the priority, even if that's for 20 minutes a day, even if that's sat down with a cup of tea for 10 minutes. It's that when you do that, you're just reminding yourself of your value and your worth, and that actually, do you know what, you go back to everyone else feeling better. Like, the number of times like the dogs were doing my head in, or my partner was just so exhausted he couldn't carry, I was carrying the load, and also watching my business just fall away. And actually, to have like half an hour just be out on my own and not be dog mum walking them, or not be a doctor's partner for all of this, was just like this is me being me. And actually, when I found it hard, I was swimming. When we could start to go back out, I started swimming again, and I'd really missed my swimming. I really missed my gym, when I then ended up in hospital having the surgery. And tonight, not have what I found during lockdown as well, is not having the contrast at weekends of big walks and going to the beach, or being in the sea, or being on the water in some way, just meant that it just felt like this continual groundhog kind of experience. That you don't really, the weekends aren't really any different. But I would say that that is something that I help my clients to do anyway. Stop making yourself the compromise, and actually make yourself a priority. And that isn't selfish, because you're going to go back with more energy. You're going to go back with just feeling refreshed. You're going to go back with a clearer head. You're going to be a less shouty mummy. You're going to be a more communicative partner. And it doesn't need to be, we can't exactly go and just sit in a spa at the moment, or we can't just get on a plane and go somewhere, as much as we'd love to. We can a little bit, but not in the same way at the moment. So
of course,
it is, what are those things that you can do for you that kind of nurture you and show self-care and self-love and just self-respect. And it's so important. And I think with the food, I know for me, like early on, I was just I kind of just used it as a reason to eat whatever I wanted, and I was just like the old joke of a seafood diet. And I was early on, I was like, I'm fine, it's all fine. But I just about everything get a bit softer. Like, training in my garden is not the same as going to my gym and having a group of people there and following the same workout. It really pushes me, and it just felt really, it didn't feel great at all. And then it was that realization that, just like you said, those small habits to start changing things again.
Exactly. And it is really tough. I was going to say something then, but I can't remember what it is. It's gone. Gone.
I think this will happen a lot with us.
The most important thing ever that I was ever going to say.
Brain fart. One of us was going to do it.
I know what I was going to say.
There you go.
I think that the one thing as well that people would kind of think, I'm just going to do this, would be having the validation also from seeing online that so many people are doing it as well. So, like you see all of these memes, don't you, of people putting, I don't know, a picture of a chubby baby with a bikini on saying, well, this is my bikini body gone, blah, 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 because of lockdown. So I think that even though people didn't want that, they didn't want to be lacking motivation to do exercise, they didn't want to be eating all of the food, but I think that when there were so many kinds of like memes and messages and everything going around on social media with people going, what did you do getting locked down? I got fat or whatever. It was a joking around thing. So it's like as if people get a bit of validation then that it's okay because so-and-so's doing it as well, but that never really kind of helps the situation, because internally then, the struggles and the low self-worth and low self-esteem and just not feeling happy or healthy in general, are just going to be kind of festering then. So, it is important for us to make sure that we've got a really good network of support around us to help us through quite a difficult and challenging time. We are not going to be motivated to do exercise all the time. I'm not, definitely not. I can think of far better things that I would rather be doing, but it is going to take exercising that discipline muscle from time to time, and it's going to be far easier when you've got the accountability and people around you to say, come on, you've got this. And even if it is just walking and managing your steps on your fitness tracker, that really does go a long way to help them with feeling good.
Yeah, awesome. One final point to add as well is I am a massive fangirl of Brené Brown. I'm like a friendly stalker. Like, I know that you love her as well. And she, at the beginning of all of this, she started a new podcast and it's called Unlocked.
Yes.
Her first podcast was about FFTs. So FFTs, we'll swear on here because that's just part of us and our passion. It's a fucking first time. So he was saying like lockdown and everything that's happened with the virus is this global FFT. Yeah. So it's happening at this global level. Every country was slightly different. Even regionally, it was slightly different. Your own situation was completely different. Like I said, my partner's a doctor. My business was really quite affected, but I'm still wanting to show up and serve clients. I still wanted to be in my business and grow my business. And it's not fair to judge yourself by something that is a fucking first time.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what this is. And I had clients that were being hard on themselves, clients that were, I'm trying to manage a remote team and I'm finding it really hard, or just, how are you today? I've just furloughed my entire team that I've spent 5 years building up. And, it's that, don't judge your reactions, or don't judge your relationship with food, or don't judge, even your relationship with yourself in something that it's such a unique, I don't like the word unprecedented, but we've never been through this before. Yeah. So it's all we're doing is simply finding our way through it. And we still will be. And I think we will be for quite a long. Oh, there, we're back. And I think we will be on and off for quite a long time to come. So it's that forgiveness and that context of, are you getting up in the morning? Are you doing the best you can in that day?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you giving yourself some support and your family? If you are, crack on. Like that's all good. So I really recommend that podcast. I'll go and tag it into the comments. But it's Unlocked by Brené Brown, and it's the FFT, so the first episode. And I absolutely love it. It kind of gave me permission for all the big stuff I was feeling of like, I don't know how I'm meant to feel. I have this online business, but actually the sort of clients I work with, it was quite affected. And I was seeing everyone, I was comparing myself to people that were selling business coaching, for example. And I was like, I'm failing. It's like, but that's a different thing, Nick. Awesome. So, it's a FFT. Your business has not been through this before. And I still have a business, and I have clients and I have new clients. So it's that, it's unique. And we don't know ourselves in this context. So we just need to be a bit kinder and just I think if we take the lessons from it, it's like any other shifting that happens in your life. Like the dark times always lead to the brightest of times and the biggest of lessons. So it's knowing that we will get a huge amount out of this if we take it as an experience that we can grow from, rather than, oh, it's just been, you know, shitstorm. It's like, well, actually, it's a shake of the tree. It's an awakening. It's an opportunity to change how we do things. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I think that was a nice coverage.
Right. We've been about half an hour, and that's kind of what we planned. So tell everyone, Tara, where, and we'll pop this in the notes or something next time in a fancy way. Just tell everyone where they can find you if they want to hear more from you.
Here, Tara Hammett on here, and over on Instagram as well, Tara Hammett. They're the two ones that I'm going on all of the time, and you can go to tarahammett.com and have a little look. But yeah, and you know, social media, we're all over the place. And of course, next time me and you chat.
Yes, of course, yes. And me, Nicola Buckley, I have a free community called the Clarity and Confidence in Corporate Community. And I probably hang out a bit more on LinkedIn because that's where my ladies tend to be. So yeah, but I've loved today. I've absolutely loved today. So hopefully you've got something from it. I'd love to know what you thought and if there's anything you particularly want us to cover next time. And yeah, have an amazing day. Try not to melt in the heat, and we will see you next time. Lots of love.
Bye guys.
Bye.